I want to share what happened to me this week because we are all here trying to create impact. We're in business and thinking about scaling or starting new things. And so I think it's important to share the ins, outs, ups, and downs. And if I'm going to be a leader, then I need to walk the talk and share it all. So that's what I'm doing this week. I was with my mentor and we had a 4-hour telegram. Now, I don't know if any of you have ever done this, but it is intense. And I loved it because I set aside the time on my calendar and it was like, I am going to bang out the things that I have been wanting to do, but always push off because when you're in it and you've got work and family and yourself, there's always something that comes up and is more important. So anyway, I booked these 4 hours on Telegram with her, and somewhere in the middle, actually it wasn't even the middle, it was closer to the beginning, I realized that things were shifting in my business. And it's not that the business isn't working, it's that I'm shifting. And the version of me who is showing up is shifting. And people have been telling me that in my content on what they're seeing in social media of like, ooh, I like this Lisa. She's feisty. Look, I've been feisty for a long, long time. It's just that in business and online, I try to put on the polished, button up, educational Lisa. And you know what? That gets old because I like the woo-woo. I like to talk about intuition. I am a double Scorpio. There's a lot that comes channeling through me. I can walk in a room and I know what's going on with people. And it used to scare me. It used to overwhelm me. I used to take on all of their emotions and fears and anxiety. And I've worked really hard not to do that, especially with my clients. And that's hard. And maybe you've felt that too with people in your life or your own clients of where you adore them and you want to help them, but it's not your job to save them. So I've been working on that. And when this came up in the Telegram yesterday, I hadn't said it out loud yet. I've just been thinking it because I was still showing up as that polished version and safer, but it's time to make people uncomfortable. So I decided, let's do it. I'm going to shed that skin. I'm going to make people more uncomfortable like I do with my kids and my mom and my friends, and when I speak the truth and I do it out of love. So I decided to rename my free Telegram community. It was called Built for Bigger, which is a great name because it's true. The women in there and the women that I work with and want to continue to work with, we are built for bigger. We have a big purpose, and that is why we create nonprofits. That is why we go after that big impact. Now, it's more than that. And that is why I decided to rename it the Impact Rebels. And the reason I call it Rebels is because, well, look, I was a good girl. Catholic school all the way through. All girl Catholic high school. Yeah, I was raised to be nice, agreeable, and not too loud, not too much, even though I was a cheerleader. Oh yeah, so that was a little loud and a little much. But don't make anybody uncomfortable. And try not to stand out unless it's when you're cheerleading. And I was a really good student, good employee, good friend. And in my last episode last week, you saw what happened with that, with being a good friend and how that really didn't work out for me when you give, and then people decide they've gotten what they need from you and then they move on. And that sucks. And so that was part of this transformation for me as well. As like I have been trained all these years to be that good girl and keep giving and soften my opinions and edit before I speak. And, I'm over it. And so that's where this rebel is coming in. Because when you are building a business or a nonprofit as the polished version of yourself, that is reflected and that's what you get back. And your content starts to sound like everyone else's. And your messaging, it doesn't really hit anymore, right? I mean, yes, people are like, oh, that sounds great, but I can just go get that from somebody else, or I can just wait on that. And if you're posting the safe version of the things that you want to say, then they just don't hit as hard. And sure, being strategic is important, but we really want that hit, because for me, I want women to realize now is the time. Now is the time to be that impact rebel. Now is the time, as the world is burning, for us women to stand up and say, no more of this shit. And this is how I'm moving. And this is where I'm going to create impact in my community. And this is how I'm going to help. And yes, you all know, I love strategy so much. But also, I feel it in my gut. When I talk to a woman, I know, I see into their soul. I see that vision of who they can become if they will just let themselves drop the polish and shed that skin also of the good girl. And so here we are, impact rebels. And I want to be clear. This isn't a new identity. For me anyway, because I've been here the whole time. And I also believe that all of you and my clients, we're not becoming someone else. It's like, oh, she was so quiet and prim and proper this whole time. And now look at her just turning into this bold one. We've always been bold. We've always been here. We've just kept our volume turned down because it was safe and it kept everyone happy. So now it's time to turn the volume up. Let her out. Let her have the microphone. Say the thing in the captions. Get on and do a talking reel. Who cares what people think? I know you have it in you. And so I am going to encourage you to let it out as I am letting it out. So Impact Rebels is my free Telegram community. We are in there. I'm dropping weekly audios. I love participation. I love to hear what women are creating, what they're up to, where they need support. Because we women, when we stand together and we rise together and support each other, oh my gosh, we truly can change the world. That is not just a nice little saying. It is the truth. So you can find the link to join the Telegram community in the show notes. And if you're wondering still what an impact rebel is, we're here for a bigger purpose. I know this. We are here to help our community, to leave a legacy for our family, to create more wealth, and to circulate it. And that is impact. And if we have to be a little rebellious to get there and say the things that people don't want to hear, okay, so be it. And I believe that by joining these communities and speaking our truth, then more and more women find us. And then we don't have to be safe anymore because we're in a new safe zone of being our true selves and shedding that skin. So I hope that you join me there, and I will see you next time on The Rich Nonprofit.